There are zodiac signs that fate gives less time to than others. Not because of karma, not because of fate, but because they live too brightly, burning themselves from the inside. Vanga said, "There are 5 signs whose life is like a flash, dazzling, strong, but short. They are not afraid to go to the edge, do not know how to live halfway, and this is the reason for their premature departure." In this video, you will find out which zodiac signs are on this list, why it is difficult for them to maintain health, what character traits shorten their path, and whether it is possible to change fate if you know the truth in advance. If you want to understand yourself, your loved ones, and find out if you are one of these 5, watch this video to the end. Subscribe to the channel if you feel that knowledge is your protection. And in the comments, write whether you agree with Vanga's prediction or think that fate is in our hands. Let's begin. And today we will talk about the most fragile gift we have, time. The first sign is Leo. According to Vanga's prediction, among those who most often face premature death, there is a representative of this fire sign. The main reason is internal overheating, literal and metaphorical. Leo lives at high speed, not knowing the measure in emotions, decisions, stress. He is used to living as if on stage, with maximum dedication, exhausting the heart and nervous system. Leo's body rarely truly rests. Even in sleep, his body is tense, as if ready for battle. Constant tension triggers premature aging of cells, especially blood vessels. Vanga said, "This sign does not know how to take care of itself. It burns years in the flames of passions, conflicts, leadership ambitions, and the struggle for recognition." Leo rarely admits weakness, even to himself. He can endure pain, ignore symptoms, not undergo examinations. It is difficult for him to admit that health is not infinite. This pride, according to Vanga, becomes one of the reasons why Leos can leave this life in their prime. Particular attention should be paid to the heart and blood pressure. From the age of 35, it is important for Leo to keep cardio loads and emotional outbursts under control. Even joy can be dangerous for him. Sharp surges in hormones lead to problems with blood vessels. Love passions, scenes, dominance in the family, all this wears out the internal systems, accelerating the countdown. Nutrition is another factor. Leos often eat in a hurry, abuse fatty, salty, spicy foods. Alcohol for them is a way to relieve stress, but even wine can become a catalyst for hidden problems. Vanga also warned, this sign should avoid loneliness. When Leo is left without recognition, his internal system breaks down. He literally fades away, even if he is still physically strong. Another danger is injuries due to excessive self-confidence. Leo overestimates the capabilities of the body, which often leads to accidents, falls, fractures. His self-confidence is not a defense, but a potential threat. Leo's life expectancy can be higher than average, but only if he learns to take care of himself. If he understands that he should fight not with the world, but for his own health, his strength will turn into wisdom. But if he continues to live on the edge, the term may be much shorter than destined for him by fate. The second sign is Libra. Vanga's prediction regarding the representatives of this sign causes an alarming feeling. She saw that Libra often does not reach mature old age. The reason is not fate or a curse, but in the subtle, hypersensitive structure of their body. Libra lives with the mind, emotions, experiences. Their psyche is constantly working on the edge. They analyze everything, compare, worry even about others. This chronic internal tension destroys the immune and endocrine systems. Vanga noted that it is Libra who tends to ignore their physical condition. They care about others, but forget about themselves. Their hormonal background is unstable, especially in women. The thyroid gland, kidneys, and reproductive system are weak points that require constant attention. At the same time, Libra is afraid of hospitals, diagnoses, and operations. They put off treatment until the last minute, and when they seek help, it is too late. Periods of strong emotional shock are especially dangerous for them. Divorce, loss, conflicts, all this literally kills Libra from the inside. Their nervous system does not have time to recover. This triggers a chain of reactions, from depression to autoimmune diseases, which can shorten life by decades. It is also important to take into account Libra's tendency to addiction. Vanga warned, they run away to sweets, alcohol, TV series, just to not feel. But it is this escape that triggers the mechanism of destruction. Overeating, smoking, and refusal of physical activity become hidden enemies. Libra may be calm on the outside, but inside there is a storm. And when the body can no longer cope, the consequences come quickly and suddenly. There is another factor. They are rarely in a stable rhythm of life. Libras fluctuate between regimes, change the rhythms of sleep, nutrition, employment. The body does not have time to adapt. They often have a weak metabolism, a tendency to pressure surges, sudden fainting. All these symptoms lead to serious consequences over time. If Libras do not learn to stop in time, turn off the brain and restore the body, their path will be shortened. Only discipline, rejection of perfectionism, and internal honesty can prolong the life of a representative of this sign. Vanga said, "They can live a long time if they learn not to torment themselves." But if this lesson is not learned, the life of Libra will be shorter than it could be. The third sign is Capricorn. One of the main reasons for Capricorn's internal exhaustion is the constant suppression of emotions and total control over themselves. Representatives of this sign are those who do not allow themselves to relax, even if the body is already giving alarm signals. They live in a mode of constant stress, where rest is perceived as weakness, and self-care is an unnecessary luxury. Such an attitude over time destroys not only the psyche, but also the body. Vanga pointed to this sign as those who are capable of literally driving themselves into illness with their perfectionism. A bad habit of Capricorn is systematically ignoring their own needs. They will work themselves to exhaustion, not get enough sleep, not eat enough, while convincing themselves that everything is under control. Even with obvious symptoms, they delay visiting a doctor, considering complaints to be weak behavior. This leads to chronic failures in the body, hormonal imbalances, and premature aging. There is also danger in eating behavior. Many Capricorns are prone to monotonous, heavy food, eating stress with flour, fatty, salty foods. Their body resists for a long time, but one day it breaks down, and problems with the stomach, liver, cardiovascular system appear. They often do not associate this with their lifestyle, continuing to live in the same regime that caused the problems. An additional risk is the lack of emotional release. Capricorn accumulates tension for months. He does not cry, does not share, does not ask for help. The result is psychosomatics, clamps, pressure surges, insomnia. Everything that is not released through words comes out through the body. And if you do not start to let go, Capricorn himself will cut off his own life resource. In order not to shorten his path, representatives of this sign need to learn to trust not only logic, but also body sensations. The habit of bringing everything to the limit should be replaced by the ability to stop before the body starts screaming for help. The fourth sign is Virgo. Among all the signs, Virgo most often destroys her health with obsessive self-criticism and the cult of control. She lives with the idea that everything should be perfect, including her own body and behavior. Such an attitude turns everyday life into an endless pursuit of standards that do not exist. Vanga noted that it is excessive strictness towards herself that makes Virgo vulnerable to diseases, especially psychosomatic and autoimmune ones. The main dangerous habit of Virgo is constant nervous tension due to the inability to foresee everything. She worries about the future, criticizes the present, and analyzes the past, forgetting to live. The brain is overloaded, the nervous system is exhausted. This may not manifest itself immediately, but with age it leads to sleep disorders, chronic fatigue, and hormonal system failures. Virgo is also prone to stress eating or, conversely, to limit herself to the extreme. Junk food, strict diets, overworking in the gym, all these are the consequences of not being able to listen to the body. She does not eat to be full, she eats to match. As a result, the gastrointestinal tract, thyroid gland, and immunity suffer. She is too smart not to know about this, but she is dependent on the habit of keeping everything under strict control. In addition, Virgo rarely rests well. Even on vacation, she plans down to the minute, not allowing herself to be spontaneous. Vanga considered this a dangerous form of destruction of inner freedom, which directly affects health. It is extremely important for Virgo to learn to accept imperfection, let go of the situation and be softer, to herself, to the body, to life. Rejecting the inner dictator is the key to not cutting off your years with a constant struggle for an ideal that does not exist. The fifth sign is Cancer. Cancer shortens its life force with the habit of living in the emotions of the past. He carries grievances, worries, guilt, anxiety for loved ones, and all this corrodes him from the inside. This sign is more likely than others to get sick, not from the external, but from the internal. His mental trauma settles in the body, and psycho-emotional stress manifests itself in the form of specific diseases. Vanga warned, if Cancer does not learn to let go of the old, he himself will become the source of his own loss of vital energy. The most destructive habit is to withdraw and say nothing. Cancer suffers alone, but at the same time carefully hides what is happening to him. He pretends that everything is fine, while a storm rages inside. This leads to the body starting to signal. Breakdowns of immunity, frequent colds, allergies, pressure surges, heart problems, and gastrointestinal tract. Nutrition can also be a source of harm. Cancer is inclined to eat stress with sweets, flour, fatty foods, especially in the evening. He does not seek balance. He eats to console himself. Over time, this habit leads to excess weight, metabolic problems, and chronic inflammation. Plus, a sedentary lifestyle and the need for comfort often prevent physical activity, which only worsens the situation. A separate risk is attachment to toxic relationships. Cancer does not leave, even if it suffers. It endures, saves, closes its eyes. And this affects the nervous system, causes chronic stress, and in the long term, destroys health. It sacrifices itself for others, forgetting that no one will save it if it does not start to take care of itself. To preserve life and strength, Cancers need to learn to let go, not to return in their thoughts to what cannot be changed, and to stop sacrificing themselves. Emotional honesty with oneself and caring for the body should become a habit, and then their deep sensitivity will not become a weakness, but a source of longevity.